Today we're looking at my #1 guitar, the midnight 60s Stratocaster. For years I've been a Strat guy. In fact, my very first guitar at 12 years old, my parents bought me an Austin branded S-style guitar. It was like a see-through purple. The thing was sick. So I guess it was really inevitable. From the get-go, my fate was sealed. I've had several different Strats over the years, some pretty good, some not so good. But for some reason, once I got a hold of this one, it was one of those like, oh yeah, this thing is the it. This will forever be my jam. I felt it was finally time to give it a little bit of glory. We're going to talk some specs today, go through some tone tests, maybe even talk about what I have planned for this guitar pretty soon. I'm going to try something new in today's video, spreading out the tone tests throughout the video. That way it's a little bit less rigid, not a big block of talking and then a big block of sound samples. They'll be kind of spread out periodically. If you want to jump to just the sound samples, I've got timestamps for you below, so you can click on exactly what you want. The Midnight 60s Strats were a limited run made in Japan. This one is from 2018 and measures 7 pounds, 10 ounces. If we start at the headstock, you'll notice it is painted, which I absolutely love. It was probably half the reason why I bought this guitar. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about painted headstocks. There's usually two camps, the people that absolutely love them and the people that absolutely despise them. Also up there, you'll see we have vintage style tuners. The hardware is gold. And because this is a vintage, quote-unquote, spec neck, the truss rod adjustment is not at the top of the neck, but rather at the other end. So a little bit difficult access there, but it just is what it is. The nut is made out of bone, and it came set up for 9s. I've always had trouble with this nut because I played 10 to 46 gauge strings, and my intonation, especially in those lower frets, has always been a little bit off. My brother and sister-in-law just sent me a set of nut slot files, I think because they felt bad for me. So that's on my immediate to-do list to set this thing up properly for 10s. Later, when I show you a picture of the bridge, you may notice my low E string saddle is backed like way in reverse, which is not proper, but has been letting me limp along with the nut the way it is for the last couple of years. So first thing I got to do now that I have these nut slot files is take care of that, set this thing up for 10s. Taking a look at the fretboard, you will notice it is made out of rosewood, nice and dark, especially in comparison to the woods being used by guitar companies nowadays. I do miss this nice dark rosewood board. Standard Fender scale length, so 25.5 inches. Vintage spec radius, so it's 7.25 with little tiny vintage style frets. There are only 21 of them, so you have to remember if you're reaching for that 22nd fret, it's just not there. The neck itself is made out of maple, and you'll notice no skunk stripe. I really love that. I don't know why I despise skunk stripes so much, but I do. And you'll notice that I sanded the back of the neck just to make it less sticky. It is a U-shaped neck. I'm very poor at knowing what the letters mean and how that equates to neck profiles, but what I can tell you is that this neck is awesome. It just fits my hand perfectly. I don't have a particularly large set of fingers, but I don't like a thin, small neck. I like something that really fills my hand, nice and thick and full, and that's exactly what this neck is. I think that's another reason why I'm always drawn back to this guitar. It just feels so, so good. Let me give you some measurements on the neck. The thickness at the first fret measures 22 mil. Thickness at the 12th fret, 24.5 millimeter. The width at the nut measures 42.5, even though they tell you it's 42. And the width at the 12th fret measures 52 millimeters. The body on this guitar is supposedly made out of basswood, but you can't really tell because it's covered in a thick gloss black poly finish. Obviously not 60s spec there, and while I would prefer a nitro finish guitar, even if it wasn't proper nitro, for the price on these when they were new, you really can't complain. It's understandable that they would just quickly spray a bunch of thick poly on it and get a move on. If we look at the back of the body, you'll notice that I do block my trem off. I think I glued a couple of paint sticks together and shoved it in there. I would really actually love a hardtail Strat, but never come across one, so this works too. Going back to the front again, you'll see, like I said, we've got gold hardware, which originally wasn't my favorite, I'll be honest with you, but I've actually grown to love it. I think it looks really sick. Especially over the couple of years that I've had it, it started to dull a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that continuing and seeing what it looks like. As far as the electronics go, we've got a standard 5-way switch, no tone knob on the bridge, and the pickups are ceramic. There's not a whole bunch of information on these, but they're pretty decent, I gotta tell you. A little bit dark sounding, especially when you put some gain on them, but not too bad all in all for a set of stock pickups. This is one of those guitars where just everything feels so good. Especially the neck. I mean, I think I've said it before in this video, but it's just like it's molded to my hand. The build quality on these MIJs really is second to none. It's not just outlandish stories, that I can tell you. Coming up soon, I have to do a little bit of setup work on this guitar. Like I said, file the nut down a little bit, get it set properly for 10s. I also plan a pickup swap on this guitar. I don't mind the stock pickups, but just want something with a little bit more sparkle on the top end. And while I'm at it, I think I am going to adjust the wiring. I may get a little bit of flack from the traditional Strat guys, and I completely understand, because what I have in mind is not anywhere near traditional. You know, just trying to do my part to move the Strat forward. While I'm at it, maybe I could do some other stuff. Maybe cut away some wood in that lower cutaway. Make the headstock a 3x3 design instead of inline 6. Even add some birds instead of dot inlays. Nah, that's dumb. I think I'm just going to stick with the pickups and wiring. Anyway, thanks for stopping in. If you enjoyed looking at my main guitar, please drop a comment below and tap that like button on your way out. I've been Joey. There's going to be more cool stuff coming up soon, so until next time, thanks so much and take care.